If you use a laptop on the move, a solid-state hard disk or SSD offers several advantages over the old-style platter hard disks. As well as improvements in performance, they're more resilient to drops and vibration because they don't have any moving parts. As laptops generally only have space for one hard disk, you can't just add an extra disk. You'll need to copy Windows and all your documents first, and that's exactly what we're going to do now. Because you can't fit this SSD in the laptop right away, you'll need to either connect it using a special cable, such as the one we've got here, or an external hard disk caddy. Now this cable is probably the easiest way of connecting the SSD. Plug the long end into the SSD, and it's keyed so you can't put it in the wrong way up, and then plug the other end into your laptop. Alternatively, you can find a link below for our video explaining how to fit a hard disk in an external caddy. The process is exactly the same whether you're using an SSD or a platter style hard disk. With everything connected, start Windows. You may get a message when Windows starts that it's installed drivers for new hardware, that's the hard disk and the connector, and sometimes you'll need to restart the computer to complete this installation. Now we need to install some software called HD Clone, and this will copy the contents of your existing disk to the SSD. Start an internet browser and go to www.computeractive.co.uk/2191799. Once it's downloaded, follow the installation wizard with all of the default options and leave the option to reboot selected before you click on Finish. Once the computer has restarted, double-click on the HD Clone icon, click on Yes in the User Account Control window, click on Copy Disk and then on Next. Select the existing drive first. Now this should have the manufacturer's name, but if you're not sure, the Windows disk is almost always device 0. Click on Next and then select the target disk. There's normally only one option for this, as the new disk will be the only option you can select. Click on it once and then click on Next. Leave the options on the next screen as they are and click on Next. We don't need to adjust the partition, so click on Continue without adjustments. Click on Start, double check the details of the copy process and click on the button to start copying. HD Clone will now copy the contents of your existing hard disk to the new one. This will probably take some time, but at least it only has to happen the once. Once Windows has been copied, shut down the computer and we can replace the old disk with the SSD. The first thing to make sure is that you unplug the power first. And normally you'll access the hard disk from the underside of the laptop. Now all laptops are slightly different. This one here has got quite a large plate that covers several components including the hard disk. Other ones might have just a small plate covering only the hard disk, and sometimes you might find one with a couple of screws, undo them and then you can pull the hard disk out. So we're going to unscrew this plate now. Lift it off and put it on one side, and you can see that this is the hard drive over here. It's held inside a little mounting caddy which is held in place with 4 screws, so we'll undo them as well. And once they've been removed, lift the caddy up slightly and then pull the hard disk out of the connections here. Now the hard disk is held in place with 4 screws, so I want to undo them to remove it. Now make sure you pay attention to which end the connectors are, because otherwise you'll have to fit it all over again. So undo these screws, put them down in a separate pile. Once they're all undone, simply remove the old hard disk and then put the SSD in the same way round. And then screw it in. Once the SSD is fitted inside the caddy, we want to put it back in. So align the tabs and also the connections, drop it in and push it so it's connected firmly. There shouldn't be any gold visible there. And then we need to screw this back in place. And then take the bottom plate and screw that back into place as well. There we are, our SSD is finished and fitted and ready to go. Turn on the laptop and Windows should start and you can enjoy the faster performance. Now you can install the old platter disk in a caddy to use it for storage, but personally I keep it somewhere safe as a backup just in case something goes wrong with your laptop.